Merfolk. Again, I've been not that happy with Subtlety in the main deck lately, just in general. Yeah, Fried Fish. It's kind of what we usually call the Flame of Anor build. Flame of Anor is such a phenomenal card, very good in Merfolk. We had a really good run with Merfolk recently. We were like 12-3 on the day or something with a blue-red build. Now we have some new tools. Deeproot Pilgrimage, Cenote Scout, and of course the Tidebinder, which has kind of been an all-star, and also a Merfolk here, and a Wizard for Flame of Anor. I am trying some weird stuff here. Trying Springleaf Drum over Aether Vial for two reasons mostly. That it's much better with Deeproot Pilgrimage than Aether Vial is. I think Pilgrimage is like significantly worse if you play Vial instead. And Drum also helps you like splash for Flame of Anor a bit better. Where here if you just play Aether Vial instead, you have only 10 red sources instead of 14, and kind of in the same way. Although you have the Scout is really easy to play. We have 10, 14 without the Springleaf Drum for Cenote Scout, which is like enough for splashing a 1-drop. But the drums also can help a little bit if you just have like Island into Drum 2-drop Scout on turn 2. So and also like mostly also just trying it. I'm not 100% sure Drum is better than Aether Vial, but it is something I'm working on. Okay, I'm gonna. All right. Cat 150 with Merfolk. Yeah, I think Merfolk's good. I know Dingo is like 9-1 or something with a mono blue list. Zero Lords. We have a Hexcatcher. We have another Hexcatcher on top, which I think I'll go ahead and put in the yard so we can try to hit our land. The Lords. I think Lord of Atlantis and Master of the Pearl Trident are both the worst cards in the Merfolk deck. I'm like relatively happy to not play them, and we still have 16 tribal payoff effects. Here's our scam opponent. Leads on a Thoughtseize. Takes the Hexcatcher. So I need to be concerned about them scamming a Fury here. I think I'm still supposed to play a Scout to try to hit my land for Sylvoon next turn. There's a Silvergill Adept on top. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the graveyard. That being said, if we draw a land, get to slam Sylvoon, have Trickster up, we could maybe get out of this. Be unfortunate to like not find a land after getting to go double Scout. Scry 2 lands to the bottom. If we do miss, we can go Scout into Trickster, maybe like hit a land off this, Trickster tap, and then play Indestructible Sylvoon to block. So I guess that's the plan at the moment. Land, please. Let's go. Moxfield still so snap. Does it? I thought I changed it. Okay, it should be better now. I just moved in, click save. Tidebinder's interesting here. Doesn't seem like they have a big follow-up. I was kind of hoping I would get to play my Tide Shaper to make it where I would definitely be able to block here. May still block. May also take 8. How many bolts am I playing? Yeah, I know Merfolk players just have never gotten to play bolts before. They've never gotten to play Bolt, so like as they always want to play Bolt when they splash red, but it's just not correct, I think. Matthew with the 50 months, thank you, welcome back. Alright, no attacks. So we can also very comfortably attack with Sylvoon, because if they have Bowmaster, we can just Tidebinder to turn that off. Yeah, I was a little bit little worried about Blood Moon there, but I guess they would have no black sources. Deeproot Pilgrimage. That seems worth playing here. Just get a blocker every single turn for Fury. Springleaf Drum would also be a good draw. Yeah, Hexproof and Ward 1. Combo. Kind of, you know, we got Scam Furied. Thoughtseize into Scam Fury here. And we're chilling. And we have Tidebinder to lock down the reflection of the Mirror Breaker to stop them from being able to copy Fury. They discard just a Swamp. So they have at least 2 spells in their hand. Okay, we maybe won't beat second Scam Fury. And we also might. They also maybe don't have Scam as the last card. But let's be real. Wait, they also get to kill Svyelun. Feels like they def took the wrong thing with Thoughtseize. No, they didn't. If they didn't take the Hexcatcher, I could have countered their Scam. They 100% took the right thing. We are dead here though. It's the second Scam Fury that gets you. Game 2. So I'm going to bring in the Dismembers. I was wondering if this is or maybe, I was also not sure if you want Dismember because you already have the Flame of Anor. I was definitely waffling back on like what to play. I was kind of thinking Spreading Seas in the play might be great. I was like Spreading Seas over Silvergill was something I was thinking about. And then probably do want Subtleties. Pilgrimage is kind of hit or miss also. Pilgrimage is better on the play. Can we just cut the like one toughness creatures die to Boatmasters? Try this. Yeah, Mariner's a Merfolk. It's also the 4th color. I don't know, y'all. We were doing okay until they had the second Scam Fury. It is what it is. Try out the Spreading Seas tack. Well, they have Scam Grief. They don't ever think this long unless they don't. Oh, never mind. Ward 1s do stack, yeah, if you somehow can get multiple instances of Ward 1. Let's get Steam Vents. Rewarded. Both breeding pools off the top. Ragavan? Sure. They could have paid Ward for free. Yeah, they were able to pay Ward for all 3 Ward triggers and then kill the Suvu. Oh, scrying a land to the bottom. Thank you, Ragavan. Getting a little flooded. Definitely gonna play this out. Want Flame of Anor to be a good top deck. Maybe leave it back to block Ragavan. Okay, now we'll just get in. So if they dash Ragavan, I probably double Trickster. If they grief, I'll Tidebinder the ETB trigger. Open for a Flame of Anor every single draw step when you play this deck. Or Svyelun would be good. Another Tidebinder could be good. Okay, so they're evoking a Fury. They pitch the Ragavan, which is known info. Less than ideal for sure. Flame's still best top deck. Yeah, regains Menace. We can try to Trickster and block both, actually. Obviously sucks that they get perfect info here. I don't think I double Trickster in response. It's also not super ideal to try to not have a wizard in play anymore, so Flame isn't great top deck. Yeah, so what I think I'll do is I think I'll just block here, and then if they have another Undying effect, I get to Trickster it. And then, you know, maybe I'm Trickstering the Voidwalker next turn. They have 4 cards in their hand still. Drum also means, like, I'm incentivized to keep those to top deck the Deeproot Pilgrimage. Not gonna lie, seems rough in the current modern power level. Yeah, I know we've like lost a game and we're flooded game 2, but let's play a couple matches. They could have subtletied this also, maybe. That was kind of bad. This is a great matchup for Scam. Yeah, probably, yeah. I don't know. We were like, we got Thoughtseize to the Scam Furied into Fabled, and then we were pretty ahead. My opponent's last 3 cards were Scam Fury red card. You know, we were doing pretty good if that wasn't the case. Do I think we have a favorable matchup? No, but we've also got kind of flooded here, and I don't know. We could win. Yeah, again, I didn't want to trade here so I could draw Flame of Anor. Which is really the only thing that gets us out of this, right? It's another Trickster. I don't know, not really. They have 3 cards. I'm gonna pack it in. Unfortunately. I think we do not play Tideshaper turn 1. If we knew the matchup, we could, but we don't. It's also nice that both, you know, Flame and Tidebinder instance, so you have both of them up on these turns. Against a Flooded Strand, we're likely just going to cast this as a 1 mana 2/2 at some point, so we'll do it like this. You wouldn't spell snare me, would you? You would not. Thank you, opponent. I've been very excited to draw Scout every time I've drawn it, which not that it's been like a ton of times yet or anything. I will say this too. Tidebinder has been a lot better these like few games, I think, because our opponents haven't really been playing around it at all. I can definitely see that changing. But just like, you know, like if Tidebinder ends up being this big staple, people play around it more, and you won't get these Stone Rain 3/2s as often. Still get them sometimes. Dead. Please don't fury me, I'm too weak. Uh-oh. Merfolk the Fury Magnet always. Top card is a Trickster. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the graveyard. I think I'm going to go ahead and jam my Sylvoon as well. Double Bean is so gross against these decks. They probably can't Binding Egg. Sometimes Canister plays a Godless Shrine. Yeah, the beans cometh. Not sure what the sideboard plan is. Spreading Seas could be like randomly really nice. Pack it in. I've played enough beans to know like it's too early to pack it in. But also not playing around more Tidebinders. We're not a favorite to win this game for sure. Best case scenario is they like cast an Omnath. They're F6. Maybe not F6 anymore. It's a lot of card draw. A little flooded though. Deeproot Pilgrimage is maybe like the best plan in this matchup. The hexproof tokens. It's nice that we can Trickster and Omnath also. Fury time. I mean, they didn't have a Fury last turn, you know. They're going to have 7 cards in their hand. You know, there's a good chance they could chain stuff together. They're also at 6. Bean deck definitely is capable of flooding. Oh, they also can't even cast Omnath because they don't have a white mana. They fetched maybe incorrectly. It begins. The Moxhill Temeros is playing previous deck. Oh. I thought we fixed it. Oh, sorry, I pasted the wrong file into this, I guess. I'm definitely gonna slam my Trickster here. Honestly, if all they have is like Plains Hardcast Solitude, we have them dead to I guess they could replay the Solitude. Put them to 4. Hexcatcher. Oh, Trickster is like also very good top deck here. Assuming that they're just on Hardcast Solitude. Which is maybe a lot to assume. If they're on double binding, it's not great. We could also Otawara A binding though. They can only play 1. Okay, so here we win the game if they don't have 4th Solitude. Right? Is the word Splashing Green just for the 1-drop? Dockhand has more synergy of Pilgrimage. I mean, to some extent, I want to play test with the new cards, right? But this card is very good, I think. It's these games are so weird because you like win these games a surprising amount at the time, but I thought of that. Chat kind of it still feels like chat counts them as losses somehow. Are you calling me or the dogs? Yeah, chat was like ready to concede. I can't believe they hardcast that. Yeah, I mean, there's a good chance that they were pretty flooded, which just happens a lot with the Bean deck. It's the problem with it. Okay, Flame of Anor is not very good against them, so I think I'm not going to have it. I think I might just play 4 Spreading Seas. Could play Force of Negation also. Those are like kind of the two options. You don't really want Subtlety against Bean. I'm gonna try the Spreading Seas plan, see how it goes. Yeah, you could play Mariner. I mean, the curve is so nice. Like, also this is like a really, really nice hand that's like keepable because Scout like is going to be able to dig us for land, and it helps you a lot with Mana Flood, Mana Screw, which is a big issue for Merfolk. Moves the 32 months. Thank you. Game was a scoreboard win, moral defeat. Yeah, I don't know. Just that the games take so long. Maybe I don't know why they kind of feel like losses, but it's maybe just because chat like dooms and glooms the whole time. Makes me feel bad. I do think turn 2 Pilgrimage is likely going to be great here. See if they have the nuts again. They do have the nuts. Oh, I guess they didn't have it last time. Or did we? We didn't Tidebinder, never mind. Oh, so obviously they could have Solitude. They don't have Solitude. Springleaf Drum would be a good draw. That's one thing I like about Springleaf Drum in this deck too, is like it is a like actively great top deck in these kind of games. Just, you know, kind of uncommon, right? She said Lord of Atlantis is good enough. I mean, some people still play Lord of Atlantis. It's a totally reasonable card to include in your Merfolk deck, of course. Alright, let's go and flash in the Hexcatcher end of turn, I think. It's important to use our mana here. I see you at 3 months. Thank you, welcome back. Have I accidentally countered Evoke Trigger with Tidebinder yet? No, not yet. We'll see if we do that this game. Tidebinder can counter your umbos? It can, yeah. Card is very good. So let's play a Scout. Try to figure out what our plan is. Getting fired. Another Scout. Seems okay. I can keep it on top and like triple spell next turn. Hexproof Merfolk's very funny against them too. Q-Mana Tyrant to have a way to tap Merfolk attacking. I have that with Springleaf Drum. I also have 12 other 3-drops that are all better than Q-Mana. Yeah, don't play bad cards to make your good cards better is advice I tend to have for our wonderful chatters. I think we'll probably lose this game. Then we get to play game 3 on the play. Tideshaper in the graveyard, I think. Try to draw a card with Sylvan. Oh, get to draw a card with Sylvan. It's also nice that the first thing they have to... they don't have an answer for Sylvan in hand, and the first thing they find we can Tidebinder. If they Omnath, we'll probably have to Tidebinder Omnath. Tidebinder, not very good against Teferi. That being said, I can probably kill Teferi next turn and go Sylvan with Tidebinder up. 5 cards in their hand. Maybe I should attack with the token. I think I feel okay about not. I get to trade here, and then the token is all of a sudden pretty good. I also can just cast Tidebinder here. It's probably correct. Mikor today can't Fury Sylvan. As an Omnath, probably have to take this in game 3. I'm excited to be on the play with 4 Spreading Seas against this deck to see how that goes. That being said, they could, again, the Bean deck just floods a lot. This is a big problem with the archetype, and a big reason why the deck is not as popular as it has been. And we should maybe have some Flame of Anors for Omnath. We also have Tidebinder. Like 2. I'll probably concede like the first Leyland Binding or Solitude here. Yeah, I'll skip to a Solitude if we're going tank Solitude. Maybe this is tank Fury. If they Fury, they can only kill one of my. Oh, it's Agent. Okay. Feels odd you have 8x cards in the 75 that turns lands and islands with no Island Walk Lords. Island Walk is just not that important in Modern, I think. Maybe I'm just off. I don't know. Like Lord of Linus is just the worst card in the deck. The Spreading Seas are just in the sideboard. I think it can be maybe easy to overthink it. I think I attack like this so they kind of have not an obvious, just clean trade here. Alright, got the damage in. Obviously what's tough about Omnath. Yeah, we should have some Flame of Anors in. Probably less Tricksters. Like 2/2. Maybe we should just have 4 Flame, 0 Trickster. They have the Jace. I'll play it out. We'll play it out. Okay, I will go to game 3. Yeah, let's have Flame of Anor over Trickster. Not like 100% sold on the Spreading Seas plan, but I think it's probably pretty good against them. I don't think we want the forces. It's also nice on the play we can maybe use Hexcatcher to like stop their Bean plan. Okay, I'm gonna keep this. Kind of a weird hand. Amos, I give her the 22 months. Yeah, yummy fried fish today. I think it's probably going to end up being best to Hexcatcher on turn 2 instead of Silvergill. This lets me counter a Bean, and also lets me maybe start getting in with Deeproot Pilgrimage, which did look like it was likely pretty good that game. Although that being said, it's probably better to like try to Tidebinder on turn 3 and then go Adept plus Pilgrimage. But I can only go Adept plus Pilgrimage if I draw another Merfolk, which is probably doable in the Merfolk deck. Yeah, you can play some Back to Natures. That card is, that card's pretty good against them. They've had the natural Bean every time. But they didn't have it turn 2. But it was weird because they didn't have it turn 2 last time, but then they had it turn 3 and 4. It's nice that Tidebinder can counter both either a fetch land or the Cascade trigger next turn. It is a little weird, the decision to like run it out if they do nothing, which we probably don't want to do. They're doing nothing. So we can go Adept plus Pilgrimage this turn, or we can just keep... Yeah, let's go Adept with Hexcatcher up. And this way, next turn I can go Pilgrimage with Tidebinder available. And it's nice that the Hexcatcher means they can't bean me. They're gonna ice. Okay, so we'll just play this now. I'll go ahead and get my breeding pool so I can draw. Cast the 1-drop. Think Geist could be good in the meta? No, it's like Geist of St. Trapped is a card that I and all like modern players delude themselves into thinking, oh, maybe it's good right now. It's not good right now. It's not. Just don't sweat it that much. It is not good right now. Any thoughts to counter to stop the card draw since the missing land drops? It's just way better to have the extra Merfolk in play. Like I can sack this to counter the bean if I want. And keep my Hexcatcher in play, which is pretty valuable. But yeah, I mean, I've also had that same thought of like, maybe Geist of St. Trapped is good right now. It's not good. Okay, let's Spreading Seas here. Having some mana issues. Now I want to keep the Tidebinder secret potentially. Just hold. I mean, it maybe it's also like very transparent that I am holding it up. What are you gonna do about it, huh? Sorry about Lucy going crazy. So next turn we can get Pilgrimage plus Hexcatcher going, and having a lot of fodder to sacrifice can be nice. We'll play another Hexcatcher end of turn, then they crack their fetch. Maybe that's okay. Okay, they're going for the main phase 2. 4 mana. Okay, so we're gonna try to Tidebinder the Cascade trigger then. Just gotta keep those beans off the battlefield if you can. What's nice here also is like if they like probably have a binding, and their binding costs 2 mana, not 1. Which means we can Hexcatch it if we want. Okay. Still not doing so bad. We're up on cards by a good amount, and Fury is a lot worse when it doesn't come with an extra card. Still, obviously, a good play from them. Here we get to go Spreading Seas the island. And then think if we want to Tide Shaper Stomping Ground, or if we want, I mean, I think we do that instead of play the Hexcatcher this turn. How many decks are unplayable because Fury? You tell me. Name a deck or two that's unplayable because Fury. Because I kind of think all the decks that are unplayable because Fury are we're also we're like ahead right now. But I think most of the decks that are unplayable because of Fury. Or whatever, are like also like unplayable anyways. For what it's worth. Elves, yeah. See, people go elves is would not be playable if Fury was not in the format, or it would not be a good modern deck. You know what I mean? I don't think it would be a good modern deck if it was in the format. Yeah, I know. It's the same conversation every day. It's just very boring to have it every single day. So I'm just going to send it into them here. Then we get to Tide Shaper them off of, well, I guess if they double block here. So they probably won't do. Like Elves was like, I don't know. Elves is not that far away from being playable, but it would still like be very, very bad against Yawgmoth, very bad against Bowmasters, bad against Rin and Six, bad against like the Murktide package. It's kind of, I don't know, it just doesn't have a lot of. It's still like a good against the linear decks. So we need a big top deck here, I think. And again, it's nice they have no white mana available to them. Do they even have a red fetchable? They maybe have Air or Sacred Foundry. But they can't hardcast Solitude. And if they fetch Shock, they're down to 4, which is tough. So bad against all the mistakes Wizards printed. Like we need to not have the same conversation every day. But but my point is, if you removed Fury from the modern format, I'm saying Elves would not be a good choice for a tournament still. And I don't know that there are really many decks that like would just immediately be good if Fury was not legal, is my main point. I think that if you're going to play a creature deck in Modern, like you're still pretty incentivized to just play, okay, there's a Solitude, Pitch, Leyline Binding. If you're going to play a creature deck in Modern, you're still pretty incentivized to play like Scales or Yawgmoth or Hammer or Prowess over like any of these other decks. Interesting. Targeting my Tide Shaper. Would Scam just switch to Black White Fury? I think so. I don't really think so. Okay, 1 damage to Hexcatcher, 1 damage to me. Have 2 cards in their hand, 7 life. Going to be a crucial top deck. Flame of Anor still always just the best top deck. Scout, not really it. We do get to trigger, make another token. I think blocking makes sense because they don't know that I have another non-token Merfolk. Maybe they would just always block anyways. They have 2 cards in their hand. We have a Tidebinder on top, which I think with the Teferi in play, and also like them knowing about it, I'm just going to go and put it in the graveyard. Plays Windswept Heath, 2 cards in their hand. My turn. Another Deeproot Pilgrimage. So if they don't have a removal spell for the Scout, I'm feeling really good. I think I'm going to attack the Teferi for 1, and then them for 3. Hexproof is a good keyword. They have a spell. Another Shardless Agent. It's up to Beanstalk. 3 cards in their hand. 4 minutes on the clock. Is this deck playing any red cards? Got a couple. I think they drew another bean maybe with them tapping green, tapping blue. Whatever happens, they're gonna need this agent to resolve first. They have Jace in their hand. No, I boarded the Flames back in for game 3. I don't know. This also happens all the time too. That like, I just play and I just beat these 4-color decks, and the match takes forever, and Chad is miserable because it's not very fun to play against. But we still just beat them a lot of the time, and and the whole time Chad is miserable and screaming about bans and complaining and telling me to concede. It's just, I don't know. I feel like we could have a more positive attitude about it, and things would be a lot better. That is only a 1-mana 2/2 if your opponent has an island. Like, it's not a card that you even want to play on turn 1 most of the time. Scout, on the other hand, is going to be either a 1-mana 2/2 that lets you surveil 1, or it's going to be a 1-mana 1/1 that puts a land into your hand. Both of these outcomes are good. Both of these are good outcomes. Why Drum over Vial? Yeah, Drum over Vial because of Pilgrimage. It also helps with like your double splash and helps you cast Flame of Anor a little bit. Ooh, up against Infect. Okay, I think I just want to go Hexcatcher into Scout. Kind of hard to die. There was a player who did well with Infect at Eternal Weekend in Modern, I think. We have another copy of Hexcatcher on top. I think I'm going to Graveyard. One card on top, one card on bottom. Nice, we have Tideshaper to deal with Ink Moth. Second Hierarch makes me really wish I had this other Hexcatcher so that I could block. Oh, so this is a 3/3. Never mind. We still have the block here. So they have no attack. Consider playing 5-color Bring to Light with Bean. Is it too early? It's mostly just not that exciting. It's something we've kind of done. Played a lot of Bean decks in general. Pretty hammered out. You know, there's a lot of those builds out there. Why do you think Predator wasn't in Modern? It wasn't in Modern until recently. It recently became unbanned. Yeah, I think I've just hold up Hexcatcher or Trickster this turn. I think with Hexcatcher and Trickster, it's just like so hard to die here. Can Tideshaper the Ink Moth again next turn. Get in for 3. Yeah, that was the last change to Modern. It happened while I was in Europe, actually. It was preordained unban. Spellskite's pretty good here. Although they can't Spellskite the Tideshaper ability. So let's try to Trickster the Ink Moth down. If they pay 2 life, that's fine. Kind of racing. Yeah, I can pretty easily just take 3, in fact. They can pump and make it like 7. I guess at this point they can't really do that. We can Tideshaper their Ink Moth, just leave a blocker back for their Glistener Elf and attack for big chunk here, like 8. Could also draw a relevant card here, which we did. Which maybe draws another relevant card. Flame of Anor. Alright, so at least Deeproot Pilgrimage will be a really good top deck. We'll get 3 tokens, which we can use to fuel the Hexcatcher. Yeah, just get in with these 3, attack for 9. Take 9, go to 5. King Frappuccino, think it with the 4 months. What's my favorite LCI deck? Probably the Mono Red Inti deck. That deck's been really good. I think I might run it back in the challenge this weekend. Although I may not be doing a challenge this weekend. We'll see. I was going crazy with everyone decided to cut out. Yeah, Adept is so good. People would just play like all the Merfolk lords, which doesn't seem super right. It was like the Adepts are really important to beating the Bean deck last round. Sack to draw a card. Quad Hierarchs. So if they attack, they can't really attack with this, right? I can just do no blocks. If they cast a pump spell, I can counter it with my Hexcatcher. If it's mutagenic growth, it doesn't. I don't have to counter the first mutagenic growth. Yeah, pretty nice game. So bring in the Dismembers. We'll bring in the Chalice. No, I don't have it ready, Beijing. I'll post it if it ever becomes ready. Yeah, people think that I've got like stuff ready to go like weeks out. It's I rarely have more than like 2 streams prepped at a time, and I probably have like 2 or 3 prepped at the moment. Don't have that deck ready. Yeah, Hexcatcher seems good. Pilgrimage seems pretty slow, but it is really good with Hexcatcher. Let's maybe try to trim 2 copies. Tidebinder also seems pretty bad. It's not very good against Ink Moth. It's kind of good against Spellskite. We could maybe play 1 Tidebinder. I could see wanting Spreading Seas again in this matchup. Maybe not on the draw. Maybe we bring them in on the play. Maybe we play like a couple Force of Negations. Alright, I like this hand. You'll have to wait and see, Beijing. You'll have to wait and see. You can also figure that out for yourself. You know, I believe in you. Binder for Seas. Do you think Spellskite will stay in? I think the Spellskite will stay in. Maybe it won't. Okay, hoping to hit a land off this, but if we don't, we can, you know, obviously scry to the bottom. Nice. This card is so good. So I think there's a good chance I want to just go like Springleaf Drum, and I'm not blocking because they have Pendlehaven. We can go Springleaf Drum into Adept, which like forces them to like, I guess it's bad against Pendlehaven too. I guess we could just wait and see what we draw maybe. It's good they don't have Blighted Agents. Okay, you'd think that they would maybe, yeah, they definitely should have preordained before attacking. I'm casting the drum. I could Trickster. I need to put a wizard into play. Thankfully, these are all wizards. I think I'm gonna go for the Trickster this turn. Untap Flame of Anor. Drum Flame of Anor. Maybe go land and go like Tideshaper also. I don't have to Flame of Anor this turn. If they don't have Spell Pierce, Flame is like decent because you make them use a hexproof spell, and then yeah, let's stick to the plan of like drum, leave creatures back, use the flame to like deal 5, draw 2, and then just 3 for 1 against the hexproof spell. Maybe I double block also. Yeah, Pilgrimage would be nice here. I did trim a couple copies. If you wait for them to attack with Trickster, Disable, Infect, only if the Trickster trigger resolved. So if they hexproof it, it doesn't work. So I could try to draw a land. I'm just going to cast it. It's too bad to not use my mana here. I could try to draw a land and like Tideshaper and then kill this. We'll just take the 3 for 1, and you know we have more removal in the deck. We're about to draw 2 cards, 3 cards. No flame when they tapped out. Maybe I should have flamed when they tapped out. They do have this card in the deck though. Ooh, very interesting draw when I have so many 1-drops. The Chalice. Let me go. Hopefully find a land. Force of Negation. Put that in the graveyard. I guess we just go Drum. Tideshaper. Chalice on 1. And then attack for 2. Yeah, it would still counter the Tideshaper, but I can play the Tideshaper through the Chalice, so it's not really hurting us very much. We're gonna take up to 5. In fact, this is a 3-turn clock, assuming we can block this going forward. We can also pretty realistically race. Yeah, let's play the Silvergill first. So wait a turn on Svyelun. Cast the Tideshaper. Leave back the Scout. I don't know what the best time the Flame of Anor is, but it does seem like the Flame of Anor is going to resolve. That's true. I could Tideshape the Pendlehaven. I think now, like, I just need to worry about Besage You. So if they crack the fetch, I should Flame of Anor, because that way they can't Besage You and protect. Maybe I'll just take 1 so that we don't lose to like a super explosive combination here either. Although if they're going to tap the Pendlehaven. Also, I'd like to see Aether Vial cast a Flame of Anor. I actually would, that would be That'd be sick. Tide Shapers. We also quad counterspells earlier. This is what I get for even having the slightest amount of confidence in the deck. Double no landers. You can go to 5 at least. Don't have to keep these. Explain no mountain. Opponent's thinking about their mulligan decision. Any plans for another trophy race? I think the last week of the year I might do a trophy sprint. I know I've been pushing it back, but I just have so much to do. But I think at this point it's unlikely I ever do a season-long trophy race again. It just it made sense at the time when there was no organized play, but there's nothing people could play, and it was just a weird time. But there's no Magic to play, and formats are fun, and just doesn't make sense. I think the time for the trophy race is past. Yeah, but I think that the last week of the year makes sense for the trophy race. It's kind of a lull during that time, anyways. People are done with Christmas. People are ready. Be fun. Maybe the week before Christmas. But I agree, the trophy sprint sounds fun. Force of Negation, pitching Tidebinder. So it could be up against Rhinos, could be up against Merfolk. Probably Rhinos. Gonna reveal Svyelun, I think. We get Breeding Pool here also, and make sure that card is castable. A little bit more than the Flame of Anor, because we need another land anyways. Oh, punished. How old was I when I first played MTG? I was 18, I think. I'm 29 now. I'll be 30 soon. Soon enough. Could be something else. Probably Rhinos, though. Domain Rhinos. Alright, there we go. Confirmation. Opponent got the upkeep stop. Got the turn 3 Merfolk Goddess. Hexcatcher would be a sick top deck. Tidebinder would be a sick top deck. Leyline Binding, pretty gross. Kind of unfortunate because most Rhino decks aren't in on Binding. Still a lot of good top decks here. Play Steven's tap, 3 cards in hand. Rhinos suspend 3. We did mold to 5 this game. Opponent also just refuses to remove the upkeep stop. Every time I feel like probably once or twice a day I have someone who asks me why I don't have any upkeep stop set, and I just think of players like this every single time. Who just have it, who every single time they pass the turn they just waste 5 seconds without fail. Getting Subtlety maybe. That's pretty bad. Just kind of tough mold of 5 here on the play. Trickster does kill constructs, yeah. Kills Kavu also. I mean, although now we're in our favorite place, the Flame of Anor waiting room. It does always feel like it's just night and day when this deck draws that first copy of Flame of Anor or not. I think I'll Trickster here. Oh, but we're getting... I guess I'm also just not in shape to play around Tidebinder. I guess if we draw our own Tidebinder for their Rhinos, we could win, or maybe Sylvan at this point. I'll probably concede. Deeproot Pilgrimage. Can't really attack. Too bad they Force of Negation my Springleaf Drum. go next game. So I don't know if we need to change a ton. Like the Hexcatchers are really good against them. Flame of Anor is really good against them. Don't think the Tricksters are great. Don't think we really want Force of Negation though. Don't think we really want Dismember. Spreading Seas is maybe good against... I mean, maybe just Spreading Seas is good in every matchup. I have two dogs. I have a Husky, and then we got Lucy's DNA results back. She's like a mutt. She's like 40% pit bull, and then just every other type of dog, like 1%. 1% Husky, 1% Shih Tzu, 1% Wolf, just 1% everything. Just a weird soup of a dog. We'll probably not play the Spreading Seas on the draw. I'm kind of interested on the play. Yeah, the Lucy the Mutt is like 2, and Athena's like, she's like 6 now. Yeah, literal scrapwork Mutt. Maybe she's not quite 6. She's like 5.5. But it has an upkeep stop set on their sideboarding also. See, on the draw, I think I'm a little bit more inclined to want Force of Negation. I've also been kind of whatever about these pilgrimages. They've been okay. They're pretty good against the Beans deck, I guess. Probably mulligan the 5-lander. Okay, I like this hand. What's up with the 1-mana 1/1? This card's great. This card is either a 1-mana 1/1 that puts a land into your hand. That's great. Or it's a 1-mana 2/2 that surveils 1 on ETB. That's also great. Okay, a Tide Shaper on top. It's a little bit worse if they know about it too. I'm going to go and graveyard it. I get that. Is it good enough for modern? Yes, it is. As the good enough for modern guy, I can tell you, yeah, that's it. Not only is it good enough for modern, it is the best Merfolk in modern that you can play on turn 1. There's no other Merfolk that is like more impactful on the first turn in the format. And I'll say this too, like one big problem with Merfolk as an archetype is that it can struggle with mana flood and mana screw, because like having the explorer helps a lot, I think, or helps some. If we're gonna get turn 1 iced into turn 3 rhinoed, oh man, I just keep not playing around the the Tidebinder. Maybe I'll learn one day. Kosi's Trickster, yeah, I would rather play Cenote Scout on average than Trickster. Not every opponent is fetching all the time. Yeah, if I don't know, we mulliganed again, and they had turn 1 ice into. And this is not a wizard, unfortunately. If it was a wizard, it'd be an okay shape, maybe. We're supposed to scout first. Keep Sylvoon on top, though. Okay, so I think my tentative plan is to try to double block the rhinos, not trade the Silvergill Adept yet because it's a wizard. Go for Flame of Anor. Yeah, I've been thinking about our answer. I know the card sucks. Right. Obviously, get kind of blown out by removal, but when they have turn 1 ice in the rhinos into removal, we just kind of lose these games anyways. Yeah, agent's an artifact. I'm almost definitely gonna like draw 2 cards instead of kill the agent, I think. 5 cards in their hand. Alright, let's move on. Alright, let's get a 3-2 prediction going. I will say that I've also been like very happy, I think this is a turn 1 Tide Shaper game. It's obviously like pretty awkward if it's pretty awkward if my opponent is playing like Tron or an Urza Saga deck, but I also have like Tidebinder and Flame of Anor for Urza Saga, and I just have like, you know, my curve is so high, I would just play this up. Much with the love of months. Thank you, welcome back. The lords do make it so you can turn your dorks sideways more often. When you say your dorks, what do you like? Which cards exactly are we talking about? I mean, I guess just all your little merfolk, but you're kind of wanting to do that anyways. I don't know. Pilgrimage with the new blue 3/4 vehicle. I mean, that card is like comparable to Smuggler's Copter. Like maybe it's a little bit better than Copter. Maybe it's a little bit worse. But I think that Smuggler's Copter is pretty far away from being a modern playable card. Unfortunately. Okay, so main phase the Bowmasters. Attack first. I think I'll Cenote Scout, high roll. Ding, ding, ding. Nice. Pretty far away from being my player talking trash about Copter. I mean, I've played a lot of Smuggler's Copter in Modern. I've played as much as almost anybody else, and I don't think there's been a single time where I've been like, yep, I'm happy I have Smuggler's Copter in my deck. I don't know, it just doesn't do anything, really. Okay, so we can Tidebinder the Profane Tutor when it comes down next turn, maybe. Kind of playing into Damnation, but not really. We have this for Damnation. This survives Damnation. Don't really see the point in double blocking. Yeah, I think they overthought the double block a little bit there. I don't know. Yeah, people are like, oh, you don't need to worry about it not being modern playable. You're playing Merfolk, but if you're going to play bad cards, at least let them be Merfolk cards instead of like random off-color vehicles. I guess not off-color, but off-plan. So can't really hex catch that. Hand's pretty good though. The Cenote Scout hitting the land there was also just like so incredibly important for this game. Just to be super ahead. Weird logic. What is it? Is it like if you're playing Merfolk, the idea is like your cards are synergistic and powerful together, and so like why are we playing Smuggler's Copter, a card that is individually weak? And we don't have like really synergy with, you're just playing it as a generically good card, but it isn't synergizing with your individually weak cards either here. Although I mean, maybe that's not true anymore because we have the 2-mana enchantment now. But if I'm gonna play like a weaker card, I want it to be like Silvergill Adept or Trickster, Merfolks, or just statement differently. Okay, I'm not sure what you did read differently, but. That is what I was saying. Yeah, chatter's chatting. Copter with Inti? No. Inti, I think you mostly just want to play Inti in your Asmo decks is my current thinking. And it's been very good in the Asmo deck so far. Thought you meant in Modern generally. If you're going to play weak cards, they should be Merfolk and not a Merfolk deck. Okay, yeah, not what I meant. Thank you for clarifying. The reason we're talking about Copter is because Merfolk has flood. Well, I thought the reason we're talking about Copter was the 2-mana enchantment that whenever you tap a non-token Merfolk, you get a token, so you can like crew and trigger it. So they have coffers. Do they just have coffers Damnation? They do just have coffers Damnation, and they can pay. Man, why resolve Profane Tutor? Okay, so I can sack one thing here, but I in order to keep Svyelun alive, I need to just let this happen. Who needs Profane Tutor resolve? Just have it. Red green prowess, replace a Narcomancer with Steamkin. What if I looked at Steamkin? I mean, I think a Narcomancer would be better at Steamkin. I've played Steamkin a little bit in Modern, not much. Yeah, not much, but a little bit. Have 5 cards in their hand. I guess I care a little bit more about Trickster than Hexcatcher, since they're gonna be at 2, and that's a lethal attacker. Yeah. The tutor is no longer castable. It's just stuck in exile forever. So they let that 4 mana fizzle. So they can have Orcish Bowmasters, and that's about it. Cling to Dust maybe plus push. No, I think this is ward. Yeah, they have it. They could have responded to the card draw trigger. I'm like a little. I mean, it doesn't. I guess it doesn't matter that much. If they know about the Hexcatcher, they don't know about the Hexcatcher though. Is what it is. Okay, another Tide Shaper on top. Let's go ahead and. I guess it seems pretty fine. It's a 1 mana 2/2 that like turns off the Castle Lock Twain if they Damnation. Seems like actually fine. Well, I guess like they have to have something plus Damnation. But yeah, but if they use their hand to interact with me, I get to turn off the castle, and then they have to top deck something. So spins a Profane Tutor, dies to castle. Oh, right, they saw a Thoughtseize. Right. We boarded in Spreading Seas like every single time. I want to keep in the Flames, I think, to kill Shieldred. They're kind of bad against Bowmaster, though. Pilgrimage probably looks pretty good here. Yeah, 4 seems good against them, also. I'm going to trim, like, I don't know. I can trim 1. Trim Adept against the Bowmaster deck. Let me just go down to 1 Adept. Okay, so we have the Springleaf Drum Pilgrimage combo. Sam needs to draw a non-token Merfolk. I wonder if I Force of Will or Force of Negation a Spell Pierce or Thoughtseize here. Probably not. Consider mainboarding Season Size so often. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. You're already playing like a lot of non-creatures. You could play them over the Pilgrimages maybe. Since the Pilgrimages have been pretty good. Rigby, thank you for the 10 months. Eleanor Rigby. Subscribe to Aspiring Spike on twitch.tv. Filled me with glee. Look at him streaming. Cast Pilgrimage as he dies to the door. What was it for? All the lonely chatters. Or do they all come from? If it was the Blood Moon deck, I liked it. Play it again. It's good to get your Sylvoon indestructible in this matchup. We get to go Scout, tap, never sung professionally. Well, I'm a professional streamer, and I sing while I'm streaming. So, like, does that count? Point 1 Springleaf Drum. Aether Vial 0 question mark. I don't know. Was that improvised? Yeah. Off the cuff. Joe with the 10 months, thank you. Oh baby, let's go. Hell yeah. And what's cool is when you have Hexcatcher too. Although maybe against coffers this isn't true, but you can. Huh. Yeah, let's go. Sylvoon, Spreading Seas there. Urborg. At risk of them having another, of course. Yeah, quite the top deck. Try to deck with 4 Snap, 4 Bolt, 4 Blast. What a dream. I mean, usually like the Galvanic Blast, they really want to play Experimental Synthesizer, which is a pretty bad card with Snapcaster, but yeah, maybe. Imagine thinking that the Dark Fire would avail you. Get the Flame of Anor. Definitely the best pilgrimages have looked for me so far. So we need to play this. I mean, kind of want to anyways, I guess, since it's just so much damage. We also get to tap tap the Hexcatcher. I've done Snapcaster Tribal Flames and not been super impressed, but I have tried it. Kind of bet against Bowmaster to draw 2. Gotta go for max value. We have their non-creature spells on lock with Force of Negation plus like 8 Merfolk to sacrifice. Let's go. Well, maybe we converted some Merfolk gamers to try Springleaf Drum with that game. Drum is pretty interesting with Deeproot Pilgrimage. Although that was the only time in the league we had to turn that explosive with it. We also boarded out some of the pilgrimages sometimes maybe we shouldn't have. I know we went 3-2, 1-1 against Fury decks. Feel pretty okay about the league. I think it looked nice. We did lose match 1, which is always disheartening. But I would play it again. Maybe we'll take some time off of it, tune the list, got some other stuff to play tomorrow. This deck was also really sweet. I'd play this deck again. But not today, as the stream is coming to a close. Excuse me, sneezing. I'm going to find somebody to raid and let y'all get out of here.